late 60s, early 70s is truly extraordinary. I mean, upwards, see Iraqi strike, nothing. Afghanistan, nothing. So I think Vietnam is truly extraordinary because you people work hard, you are disciplined, you are intelligent, you are smart. So I think I have no doubt at all that you will be the next China. I was there at the Asia Business Council meeting a couple of years ago. We were staying in, which is the most famous hotel there? Meridian? No.
Metropole.
Oh, Metropole.
Yeah, Metropole. Yeah. It's the old French hotel.
Yes,
Yeah.
Metropole. It's a nice hotel. And then we met your president, and then we went. The mayor had held a very nice dinner at the museum or something like that. Wonderful. Very nice.
Actually, like the Srinath mentioned, we want to be Infosys in Vietnam. But we are still very small. We have about 3,000 employees now only. And actually, very rare chance for each of us here to see you. And I really want, if possible, to give us some inspiration. So how software industry used to be and how software is going to be. And because most of us, I am a little bit old, but other people very young, 30-year-old, they need to believe in the future of software and technology and bring Vietnam our quality. Vietnam is still very, very underdeveloped country. We believe that with technology, information technology, especially with software, can somehow increase.
Yes. I think you will definitely be very successful because in this business, discipline is a very important aspect. You need creativity, there is no doubt about it. You need a small percentage of people who can innovate, come up with good ideas, and build new models, new paradigms, etc. But the majority of the people will have to be disciplined. For example, we use a model that we innovated called global delivery model. You must have heard about it. This requires us to split tasks between what is required and customer side. Yeah, please. The activities required at customer side and the activities required away from the customer. So we have come out with a lot of processes, tools, systems, and technology. But the key to success is people actually following it 100% of the time, thereby reducing rework, improving quality, improving productivity, etc. That is where I think that Vietnam would be extremely successful because you people are known for your discipline. So I do see tremendous future for Vietnam. Not just in software, I think in almost every area. As long as the government is not inhibiting your progress, because I noticed that when I was there, 2-3 years ago in Vietnam, the government was still a very big player. And I think today in high technology, you have to move fast. And that will not happen if government is an important player. But other than that, I do think that you are already there. But I mean, again, as I said, if you people can constantly innovate, if you people can ask a question, how can I reduce the effort that I spend at customer? How can I reduce the effort that I spend in Vietnam? How can I create centers in various cities in Vietnam? What about you? You're not?
Yeah, we're getting
And what about the youngsters? They didn't drink anything? Huh? How do I make sure that, how do we connect all these things as a virtual, collaborative, distributed development center? And then you have to create brand equity with customers. Today, I think there is a lot of close cooperation between US and Europe on one hand and Vietnam. And of course, Japan is very close to you too. China is close to you too. So you should not have too many problems in creating good brand equity with customers. If you can create good brand equity with customers, if you can continue your focus on discipline, and if you can innovate in improving processes, in creating processes for new services, I think you got it made. There is no issue at all. What's
He made an observation that the telecommunication industry is very advanced in Vietnam. However, the other infrastructure like the banking system, those kinds of those infrastructure things are not very advanced. So will that be a problem for their industries?
Banking industry is extremely important. As you know, every day the amount of money that is being transferred across the globe is something like 1/4 the total GDP of the world. Some of it is really not necessary, but it is happening. Second, unless you're free to travel easily using international credit cards, unless you can go open up offices abroad easily, unless you can hire consultants from abroad easily and pay them international rates, it will slow down the progress. There is no doubt at all. But I know one thing, that DBS has opened their office in their branches in Vietnam, DBS Bank Singapore.
Yes.
I think HSBC also operates, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody is there,
Yeah.
but they're very fragmented, So many people, 100 local bank, 40 foreign bank. It was very small economy actually, basically. So it's a very fragmented picture.
No, but certainly banking is necessary. Then a good stock market is necessary. Then telecommunications is necessary. Then good corporate governance is necessary, because you want to attract more and more money into the country. And the global investors have a lot of choices. They can invest in Vietnam, they can invest in India, they can invest in China, they can invest in Thailand, they can invest in Argentina, Brazil. So they will automatically go to a place where they have a greater level of comfort. And that comfort comes from the trust you can create. And that trust comes from good corporate governance. So I think all these things are definitely necessary.
See, other area he was interested was about our financial discipline and fiscal discipline. So I made Rajiv also speak to him about how we manage, how we control costs.
Yeah.
And he said his immediate reaction when he walked in was it was very useful.
Yeah, Rajiv explained to me that Mr. Murthy from day one said that everything you have to go to finance guy first. You don't sign anything without finance guy approval.
You know, when I sat down with 6 of my colleagues in my apartment in Mumbai, before we started the company, I laid down a set of rules. First, I said, we will spend less than what we earn. Second, I said, consequently, we will be profitable from day one. Third, I said, we will declare dividends. You're all very happy.
Declare what?
Dividends.
And dividend.
Because, you see, if you want to go public, you must have a record of declaring dividends. Otherwise, investors would not be interested in it. So I said, look, we had a target of going public within 10 years. We went public in 12 years because of some reasons. But I said, if you want to go public in 10 years, then right from day one, you must declare dividends. Then all my colleagues were very happy. Oh, I said, oh, you are saying we must declare dividends. I said, let me tell you the fourth thing. Said, you will pay taxes on the dividend and put it back as your equity. Because, you see, we started this company with a very small amount of money. Very small amount of money. And $8,250.
Okay.
So, at that time, we had this rule that if you want to go public, we had to have, at that point in time, approximately about 3 crores was about about $400,000 of equity. And where is 250 and where is 400,000? So I said the only way we will do is we declare dividends and you pay taxes and put back that as your equity. Then we declare bonuses and thereby we build it up. They all followed it. And then our budgeting system, in the beginning, we used to spend a lot of time in the 1990s. Because my logic is this, if I sit down with my colleagues, spend a lot of time in accepting a budget, then I don't need to ask him or her how he's spending on a day-to-day basis. I have given only one rule, and that is the actual revenue over the budgeted revenue must be greater than or equal to 1. The actual revenue or budgeted revenue must be greater than or equal to 1. Second, the actual expense over the actual revenue must be less than or equal to budgeted expense over budgeted revenue. Then I said, look, as long as these are satisfied, then there is no problem. You do more revenue, you spend more money. So I think a few simple rules, but then we said, right from beginning we said, we will use only 20% of the profit for declaring dividends. Only 2 years ago, or last year, we changed it to 30%, up to 30%, because we have grown quite a lot and we make so much money. So we said we will change it to 30%. But till last year, it was 20%. In other words, 80% of the money went to the growth of the company, 80% of the profits. I think some of these rules, help.
And a 5-year impact.
Yeah. Whenever we take a decision, whatever new policy we want to introduce, we always look at what will be the impact of this policy on the next 5 years. Generally, most policies are related towards expense. Very few of them are towards revenue, right? So, they will, you see, when people say we don't have freedom, they are not saying we don't have freedom to increase the revenue. They are not saying we don't have freedom to bring better profits. They are only saying we don't have freedom to spend more money. So that's why we say whenever you want to bring in any new policy, look at the impact of that at least for the next 5 years. Then there is no issue. I think the empowerment can only happen if the individual who takes the decision knows the impact of that decision on the future of the company. Otherwise, there is no empowerment. It doesn't make sense. So that is why I used to spend a lot of time on budgeting. I used to spend 3 months, and in my time, see, our year starts on 1st of April, but by January 1st, all the budgets would have been finalized. But I would start it by October 1st. What revenue we'll have next year, what expenses, what investments, all of that.
So you personally involved?
Yeah, of course. Me and my CFO.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
What do you think that what's the most significant contribution of Infosys to development of India?
Well, we have demonstrated that it is possible to run a company legally and ethically in India. Somehow, till we became well known, most people thought that if you have to be a successful business person, then you have to be a crook.
What?
You have to be a crook.
Okay.
Corrupt. You have to be corrupt, you have to be a crook, you have to be a bad person, you have to violate laws, you will not pay taxes, etc. But we demonstrated that it is possible to be a law-abiding citizen and still make money. That's one. Second, considering that we are all very average people, we demonstrated that it is possible for a set of average, ordinary people to come together, follow a set of agreed rules, show commitment, hard work, a little bit of smartness, not much, but a little bit of smartness, and still succeed. And succeed. What the impact of that is, we have sent a message to hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs that they can build companies better than Infosys. Because when a set of average, ordinary people have been able to do it, there is no reason why they can't do it. That is the other very important message. The third message that we have sent is the following. Somehow there was this feeling in India that Indian companies cannot have global level of quality and productivity. That we have demonstrated is possible. So we said it is possible for an Indian company to be globally competitive, to have global standards of quality, productivity, corporate governance, financial disclosure, human resources practice, etc. Fourth, I think this was the first company in the history of this, probably the history of the world, because I have never seen any other company articulate it as well as we have done. When we sat down in my apartment in 1981 to discuss the objective of the company, one of my colleagues said, we want to be the software company with the highest revenue in India. Another person said, we must be the most profitable software. Finally, I suggested that why don't we say we want to be the most respected company in India. I said, if you want to be the most respected, then you cannot shortchange your customer. You have to deliver on promise to the customer. You have to treat your colleagues with respect and dignity. You have to follow the finest principles of corporate governance with your investors. You have to be fair with your vendor partners. You cannot violate any law of the land. And you have to create goodwill with the society. That's how you get respect. And I said, if you did all of these, then revenues will come, profits will come, market capitalization will come. So we are the first company in the history of the world, in the history of business world, that said respect is the most important thing for us. Nobody else in the history of the world, business world for the last 400 years stood up and said respect is the most important thing for us. I think that is something unique.
So during the 30 year, what was the most difficult time for you?
What's it?
What was the most difficult time?
We had lots of difficulties. See, till 1991, in our industry, India was very business unfriendly. The banks did not give us any loan because they would say, look, give us a collateral, show us some machine, show us some building. In our business, when you are building a software, there's really not much to give as collateral. So we were not getting bank loans. It would take about 2 to 3 years to get a telephone connection. No, my children don't believe me when I tell them now. They think I exaggerate.
It never worked after getting it anyway.
No, we used to have this joke actually it was in France. In early 70s when I used to live in France, the joke was half the people in Paris are waiting for a telephone and the other half are waiting for a dial tone. So India was like that. So then we did not have current account convertibility, which means if I wanted to travel abroad for a day, then I had to apply to the Reserve Bank of India. And they would take 15 days to approve that travel. Sometimes they may not approve us. If I wanted to hire a consultant in quality, it would take about 6-8 months, sometimes a year for approval. And then they would say you can't give more than $200 per day or something like that. Then we needed license to import a computer. It took us actually 3 years and about 50 visits to Delhi to get a license to import a computer.
You have to go to Delhi.
Yeah, to import a
Ministry
computer.
was there.
Yeah. See, those days it would cost us about $1,000 to $1,200 for a visit to Delhi. See, it was only about 7 rupees per dollar. If you made 50 visits, it was $60,000. If the cost, let's say the cost of the computer was $100,000. So even before you ordered the computer, you had paid a duty of 60%. It's like paying duty, right? Because you're going to Delhi all the time to get approval. That means you will never be competitive with the outside world. Now all these things were fortunately removed by a government in 1991 when the government abolished licensing. They introduced current account convertibility. Then they abolished the office of the controller of capital issues. Before 1991, if I wanted to go public, I had to go to an officer in the government in Delhi. And he would decide at what rate, at what price I could have my IPO, initial public offering. That fellow had no idea of capital markets, absolutely no idea. And generally, he did not give any premium on the par value. For example, we went to that officer in 1989 and he said, okay, I will allow you to list, our par value was 10 rupees. He said, I'll give you 10 rupees 20 paise. And we said, look, this is not fair because you worked so hard and this guy says I'll give only 2% premium. So you will have to give away a lot of equity to raise small sums of money. So we didn't go public at that time. But in 1993 when we went public, we went at 95 rupees. In other words, a 10 rupee share we listed at 95. Today, a 10 rupee share is listed at 500 rupees, 800 rupees, 1000 rupees, all of them. What that meant was, we have moved from a mandated pricing to market-based pricing. When you go to market-based pricing, entrepreneurs have an incentive because you give away small percentage of equity to raise the required capital. And finally, the government did something which is very good. Till 1991, foreign companies were not allowed to have 100% equity. They were allowed up to 1977.
Okay.
But in 1977, one of our crack trade ministers, he said from tomorrow, all foreign companies will have to reduce their equity to 40%. Therefore, his name is George Fernandez. I think he's now more or less, he's popular, he's not well, he's become senile, he's about to die, I think. But that fellow, he said if you want to stay in India, you can have only 40%. With the result, IBM, Coca-Cola and a few others left. Hindustan Lever, Bosch, many of those people, they diluted their equity to 40%. But most high-tech companies said, we will not come to India unless we get 100% equity. Government realized the importance of it and said, from now onwards, in the high-tech area, any company can come with 100% equity.
In 1993.
1991.
1991.
That was extremely important because that created a lot of competition. On the one hand, in the marketplace, second, for employees. So that was the time when we had to sit down and decide, how to retain and attract good employees. Because in 1992, everybody told me that IBM is coming, everybody will leave you and go away. So we said, let's try and see let's try and do something unique, which IBMs of the world will never be able to do. First, we built this campus. Generally, most multinationals don't buy real estate in foreign countries. They always rent so that tomorrow morning they can leave the country and run. So we said we will create a campus where our people can have food courts, they can have clean air, they can walk around. And we said this no multinational will be able to create. Now they have changed their views and now they have started in the last 5 years. But anyway. Second, we said all multinationals provide good compensation to their employees. So we introduced our stock option, whereby our people at that time, they got 10 times what any multinational could pay.
And Infosys was the first company to introduce stock option plans.
Third, we said, look, all multinationals have good technological infrastructure. We had already decided to create good physical infrastructure. Therefore, we invested a lot of money. In the 90s, we were investing 9% of our revenue in technology every year. Every year, 9% of the revenue was going into new technology. That was much higher than any other company. Even today, we are the largest buyers of Microsoft products in the country, amongst all companies.
So largest buyer
Of Microsoft, yeah, software, yeah. So we said by creating good physical infrastructure, by providing good technological infrastructures, by creating stock option and thereby providing better financial incentives than any of the multinationals, and creating good and challenging work opportunity for our people, we said we will be able to compete and perform better than multinationals in retaining employees. That's exactly what we did. See, in 1992, we had our STRAP, which was Strategy and Action Plan Conference. Sorry, 1994, when we came here, it was in this building. In this building. And there I got a survey made amongst various college students whether they knew Infosys. 0% of students, college students, knew Infosys. In an exercise in unaided mind recall, that is, you don't ask the question, do you know Infosys? You say, if there are 3 companies in high tech that you know, what are those? And nobody mentioned Infosys.
Why did it survey?
No, because we were not known at that time.
But in India?
India only, we were not known.
Okay.
So then we said, by 1999, we should be number 1. By 1999, 18% of the college students mentioned Infosys as the first company, and IBM was only 11%. So the point I'm saying is, we realized a problem, we devised solutions, and we worked hard, and we cracked that problem.
And speaking about difficult times, we also discussed about 2001, dot-com bust.
Of course.
And 3,000 people on the bench and 3,000 people were offered.
Yes.
We honored all that.
Oh, we are. We have always honored every promise we have made. I remember there was a meeting in the corporate block, I think, where everybody else said this is wrong to recruit these 1,500 additional people. Our head of sales, however, said no, we should. And I sided with him, Ganesh. I said, we'll go. We recruited. That was a mistake. And the market went down. What most companies did was, including Cisco, the HR manager of Cisco stood at the gate, and when the employees came, she gave them 3 months salary and said, you don't come inside. And we had made offers to various students in colleges, where we said, we'll honor it. And we did. It was difficult, but it was very...
We tightened our belt.
Yeah.
And taken salary increase.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a difficult decision for people like you.
Yeah, I think so, because, see, the other day somebody asked me in London, what is the solution for all this greed, all this unbridled greed in capitalism? I said, the best solution is for leaders to exercise self-restraint. That is the best force you have. As long as you exercise restraint yourself, you exercise control over your desires, your greed, what's the best? Then everything will work well. No law, no rule can control your desires, your greed, because you'll always find something to overcome that, like it's been happening in the US. So I think once you are used to a certain level of self-restraint, then it's very easy.
So do you do any physical exercise every day?
Yes, I do, except in the last month or so I have not been because I hurt my leg. By the way,
You play cricket?
Hmm?
What do you play?
no, I go on the, I go on the treadmill. Otherwise, nothing. Well, when we were small, of course, we always, in India, everybody, I used to play football, not cricket, because, you see, the good thing with football is, with very little money, 12 people can play and get a lot of exercise. Cricket, you're just standing in one place, it's not a great game. it's for lazy fellows.
And one full day, right?
And one full day, or 5 days.
Yeah, 5 days.
5 days. Whereas, see, because we all came from poorer families, some, 22 families would put very small amount of money and buy a football. And 11 people on this side, 11 people on that side. See, and it was fantastic, and everybody is going around like crazy. So by 6:30 they are all tired. Parents are happy. They won't create any problem at home. So, football, in my opinion, football is the best game.
Yeah, we fully agree.
Doesn't cost money.
Very democratic and
Yes.
cost very cheap.
Yeah. Also, it's very good exercise. You're all the time on the move.
We even don't have a ball. We just have some fruit. Great.
Yeah. You don't even need a ball. You can use grapefruit and play.
And the same joy, same exercise.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
But now people try to win a lot of gold costly and everything. Very expensive. I don't know. We need to have more football show. So do we have a football team within Infosys?
Yes. Oh yeah, we have.
We have all games. So many with 100,000 youngsters.
Yeah.
So cricket, football, basketball.
The football is very exceptional.
Still have you arranged for lunch now?
Yes, they will see the facility requirements.
Mr. Murthy, my name is Tung. I'm a managing director of FPT USA.
Yeah.
So as a leader, as a chairman of the leading company in the leading country for outsourcing services, how is your views about emerging country in outsourcing services like from China, Vietnam, Mexico, and
See, India and China have one advantage which other countries don't have, and that is we have large population. We produce large number of graduates. We produce large number of engineers. Other countries have smaller population. In this business, size has a lot of value, so we can scale up pretty quickly. However, as you know very well, it is not the big companies that eat the small companies. It is the nimble ones that defeat the slow ones. Vietnam itself demonstrated how you beat Americans, right? And that happened because you were smart, you were nimble, you were fast, you were committed. So I do think that if you people focus on specific expertise areas, become expert in one niche area, then given the smaller size of your population, you will still become leaders. So your solution is best to become a leader in one area and then charge higher and higher and higher rates. Thereby, even though your numbers may be small, you'll be very profitable, you can give excellent salaries, you can make a lot of profits, your investors will get a lot of money, etc. That I think is probably the best.
Good example is Israel. Israeli software companies. They're very niche security.
Yeah.
They are focused on.
Oh, yeah.
They develop software
Yes.
products.
Yeah.
Security.
Yeah.
They're very.
And I have another question for you. How you think about success? Because for a company like Infosys, it may be very important.
Succession or success?
Succession.
Succession.
Changing leader.
Yeah,
Generation.
well, that's been very easy here because right from day one, we have separated management from control. Shareholding has not impacted management in this company. And this is also a meritocracy. So we have right from day one looked at who would be the possible people who can take over from me. So we have done it already. We have done 2 successions and they have worked out well. And as long as it is done in a transparent, open and meritocratic manner, everybody will accept it. So we have done a pretty good job.
So you don't have any problem. You don't see any problem in that.
No, absolutely no issue. See, it's very important that you select a person who has demonstrated competence and other attributes. Once people realize that the person is good and is deserving, there is no issue. Problem arises if I suddenly bring somebody from my family or something, just put that person there. We have not done so far.
But it could be good in country like China and Vietnam is influenced in China a lot. It's a tradition.
Sure.
Someone from family joining the management.
No, even in India today, today it's slightly higher, but about 15 years ago, Tata's had 2%, 3%, that's it. That's all what they had in a company.
Yes.
But they behaved as if they owned it 100%. Birla's had, same story. But we said, right from the beginning, that is not the right way. Our logic was that every youngster that we select as a software engineer must have an opportunity if he or she demonstrates the required qualities to become the CEO of the company. That's why, at least till I was recruiting, I was involved in recruiting, I always used to go for the best. Because every one of them must have an opportunity to become the CEO. So once you provide that opportunity, once you send that signal, youngsters will perform well.
Yeah. We love to spend about a whole day with you.
It will be an absolute pleasure.
I charge half my So I I read a lot, spend a lot of time to read annual report from Infosys. I see from the presentation this morning about the focus for the market. So you are very much focused right now for the customer. That's the revenue side from 800 million to 1 billion. I believe that like in Europe or in USA, the companies, the revenue ranging from 100 million to about 1 billion. It's a huge, very big number of companies. I see the list of customer of Infosys as compared with list as customer of Wipro. I see that Wipro also approach a lot of us, much smaller company. So my discussion is that if we do not focus the smaller companies on 1 million, then unfortunately it's a huge market opportunity for another competitor. Infosys may lose that opportunity. Maybe you can have to Cognizant or SCL or Wipro build that capability to get more and more customers. So and for equity right now, we are trying to approach companies that sign from 100 million to less than 1 billion euro. That's our target. It's my target right now for just a market. Do you think that is any way that we can cooperate and work together? First of all,
Fortune 2000 below.
smaller companies come and
focus, and that is their focus.
yeah.
And is it a possibility that we can work together to attack that segment?
Yeah, I think already Srinath has been discussing with you people on how we can add value in Japan. There is a possibility, but I tell you one thing. For any collaboration to work well, the two partners must bring sustainable, complementary values to the table. Even for a marriage to work well between husband and wife, the husband must see sustained value from wife must see sustained value from husband. Otherwise that marriage will fall apart. So the trick we have, the challenge we have is, we have to understand what sustainable, complementary strength that each of us brings to the table. That is, what is it that we cannot do without you? What is it that you cannot do without us? If you can write down on a drawing board, if both of us agree, then it will work. Otherwise, it just won't. That's one. The second important thing is, the aspirations of both of us must be somewhat similar. See, in Indian marriages, at least in arranged marriages, nowadays they don't happen much. We always look for very similar families in terms of class, in terms of wealth, in terms of education, etc. The reason is, we want similarity of aspirations. We generally don't bring a very rich family and a very poor family together. Or we don't bring a highly educated family with a family where people have not studied well. No, we don't do that. So if you satisfy these two, that is, let's say our growth aspiration is to a 20%. If your growth aspiration is 5%, it won't work. Similarly, our aspiration is to make, say, 26% profits. If your aspiration is to make 3% profit, it won't work. Just won't. So, one, you and us should bring sustainable, complementary strength to the table, so that we cannot live without you and you cannot live without us. That's what marriage is about, right? Husband says, I can't live without you, at least in the beginning of the marriage. the wife says, I can't live without you.
Yeah.
Second, our aspirations must be raised. Only when these two are satisfied, such things will work. Yeah, I'm coming.
I think that the aspiration that we have actually want to grow 50%, 40% number one in Vietnam. But
No, I tell you where the problems generally come. I have come across many. I have had. We used to have a joint venture with a company called Kurt Solomon Associates in Atlanta. We closed it because their aspirations was to say we'll make only 2% profit, 3% profit. Let us just have revenues. We said no. So it's very important that our aspirations are similar.
so I think that the last one is that tomorrow we're traveling to Mysore.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I heard it, and I really want to set up any collaboration in training because we now
Sure.
we have a lot of people, but we don't have a methodology to train the people like you have. So it's possible.
Sure, we'll be very happy. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
No, sure. Thanks a lot.
I have a small gift for.
Oh, thank you.